Yo, what's going on, man? Ooh, sorry if I sound a little sick, but not feeling too good, but we gonna get through it, man. Anyway, this is part four of What If Mory was in oh my gosh, yeah. My mind might be all over the place today, but y'all already know what y'all here for, man. This is part 4 of What If Mory Was in High School DxD. I appreciate y'all for all the love and support y'all showing me, for real. Like, honestly, bro, like, I don't even know what to say, man. I'm just, like, in awe right now. I'd never expect High School DxD What Ifs be taking off like this, for real. But I appreciate all y'all, for real. I appreciate all the love y'all show me. And without any further ado, I'm going to let this intro play, and we going to get into the what if.
Bang, rock ain't fall. I've been sitting around. Been in touch your toes. Working like a pro. Chill like a leader. No, you on the go. No, you on the go.
Now, if y'all been keeping up with these what ifs, like I know y'all been doing, because y'all always want more. So, after Riser left, that's where we left off. Rias begins to train her whole peerage, as she says that, it's training time, and it's time that they need to buckle down, especially Issei and Asya, now that she's a part of it. Asya needs to learn how to hold her own, which they begin to go into the mountains and start training. And so we open a camera basically with them hiking, and everybody has like these huge ass rucksacks on their back, and Issei has like a big one, but it's still small, with Kaneko. Actually, no, Mory having the most weight in his, as it's pretty much nothing to Mory since he trains like this every day. But he decided to wear some weighted clothes, his weighted clothes that his grandfather had made for him. And so that's what he does. He wears that to basically the training with the Grimory peerage. And so after Issei slowly gets up the mountain, they basically flash back to them getting ready to go in the mountains and train. And so, they cut to Issei and Mory, with Mory just getting nothing but just weights and a staff that was specifically made for Mory. It's not UA, but it's like super duper hard and dense. So, it's super duper hard. It's very durable, and it's really heavy. But it's really light to Mory. So, Mory was like, I never thought I would use this, but sorry for the yawn. But Rhea seems very serious about winning this rating game. And that's when after Mory says that, that's when Issei says, yeah, she seems serious. I never seen her worried like this. So, Mory, I want you to train me, and I want to do good with everybody else too. I want to train till I drop. So please, it's like, please, I need to be strong for her, because I want to give that good old riser bird brain bastard a good right hook. And so that's when Mory was like, I'll help you with that. I will. And so that's when Mory was like, if you help me with that, I want you to help me get some girls. And that's when Issei started to laugh. You are interested in girls? And then that's when Mory was like, yeah, I talked with my grandfather, and then he says, I should get out there. And then he was like, and then that's when Issei was like, oh, hell yeah, man. Now we could be an ultimate duo. And once we get strong enough, we can have our own peerage and our own heroes. And then that's when Mory was like, yeah, that's cool and all. And that's when they both, left the room and began their journey to walk. And that's when we flash back to here. And so after they made it to the end of the basically like their training quarters, or what they got up in the mountains, they begin to train with Issei doing a series of exercises, magic exercises, combat exercises, physical exercises, and overall just trying to get a better handle on summoning his sacred gear and being able to handle more power than what he already can handle. With that being said, Kaneko, we flip to Kaneko as she's over here training and using jujitsu basically to get more, not Mory, but get Issei to tap out. And then that's when Mory's just watching him as Kaneko was like, "Hey Mory, do you want to spar?" And that's when Mory said, "Sure, I guess." And he was like, "I don't see why not?" And so that's when Mory told Issei to watch closely as they begin to get in their fighting stance. And that's when Mory told Kaneko to not to hold back, use all her strength. And then that's when she says, "Okay." And so she jumps and tries to punch Mory, but Mory dodges, and she starts using a flurry of punches and kicks, with Mory giving her credit that she has a good foundation of strength and striking ability. But that's when as he punches, he uses his legs to he puts his leg out, and that's when Kaneko kind of runs into his foot, making her stumble a little bit. And then that's when he uses his foot to push her off, and she catches herself as she backflips. And that's when he says, "But your movements are all over the place and you're wasting energy." And then that's when Kaneko said, "How so?" And so she begins to ante up the strength and speed, as Mory is still effortlessly dodging, leaving Issei in awe, as he's like, "Damn, how is he so good at this? He doesn't have any magic like everybody else." And he's not as strong as Kaneko. Little does he know he is. But that's besides the point. But he was like, it's just pure technique that he has, and that he's just that damn good. He was like, "Issei, the way that I've been training, it takes a while to get like this. I still haven't surpassed my grandfather yet. And that's my ultimate dream, to become stronger than my grandfather. So until then, I'll always train." And then that's when he uses renewal taekwondo roundhouse kick, as he kicks Kaneko, tries to kick Kaneko in the head, but she does the high guard and she blocks the kick, as that's when Mory still shifted the weight in his leg, and it kind of threw her, and that's when she caught herself. And then that's when she stood back up, getting back into her fighting stance, and she says that kick was nothing, Mory, as that's when she began to feel dizzy. And so that's when she was like, what did you do? What happened? As Mory explains that renewal taekwondo isn't about just power, it's about technique and using that power to hit pressure points. I've studied the human body, and human and devils alike, it seems like they also have the same biology makeup. So if I know the pressure points, my martial arts is very useful against people with pressure points. Even if you don't have any pressure points, I can still get the job done. As he was like, "I could train you, Kaneko. You have the," he told Kaneko that, she has the perfect foundation to learn, renewal taekwondo, as she has the strength and the durability to take some of the backlash it gives and the stressors that it gives. And then that's what makes Issei, even more pumped that he'll be able to, like, maybe train with Mory, since he uses some of the moves that Mory did teach him. And that's what Issei has been doing too. He's been training with Mory in those specific 2 moves, because Mory wants Issei to get at least one move down. So when he like goes to do it, he will be able to use that one kick perfectly, to rather study 1,000 different kicks and won't be able to do it perfectly. So as they begin to train, that's when Kaneko kind of her pride was kind of like stung about losing to Mory, because she thought she was like one of the strongest, like strength wise and striking wise. And so that's when she was low-key kind of mad at Mory, like it's that tsundere vibe that she was given. And so after dinner, that's when Mory went outside, in the forest to train some more, as he found like a sturdy tree to practice the recoilless kick, as he's trying to perfect it, since he only was able to do it one time. In his memory, if he's like remembering all the moves that he did prior to himself, if that makes sense, because he's starting to remember. He's basically starting to remember, his past self, but he doesn't know that's his past self. He's like, as he keeps going into the dreamscape and falling into the dreamscape, he basically practiced with himself, as he's like, going in, practicing with himself and fighting with himself in his dreamscape, and he's correlating those moves that or any new moves that his shell self is showing him, and trying to correlate that so he can have more in his arsenal and be able to access maybe the potential power that this dreamscape is providing, or whatever he said, as the dreamscape person always keeps saying, remember yourself, remember who you truly are, remember how you want to be free, remember you have no restrictions, and if you are bound to any restrictions, you will break out of them. As Mory wakes up, and it's another day of training. And so as Mory begins to stretch, he flashes back to last night. I gotta cover that part. And so as Mory was training his recoilless kick, that's when Kaneko comes out, and they begin to chop it up basically. And Mory apologizes for going so hard against Kaneko, which it wasn't like his intention to make her feel bad about anything, as she began to say that it was okay, and her pride got the better of her, as she isn't used to training, as she sees training as a ends meet. But that's when Mory offered to help her train, and she does accept, with them bonding while Mory's teaching her, and Mory's stretching her out. Not like that. Not like that. I'm talking about he's doing assisting her stretching, so she could get these renewal taekwondo positions right and these kicks right, as Mory grabs her leg and guides his hands, feeling her leg. It sounds like that, but I promise you it's not like that. Maybe. I mean, shit, we already know what's about to happen anyway. We already know Mory gonna get a harem, so we might as well just start now. So she starts blushing, as Mory was expecting Kaneko to hit him, but that's when he was taken aback by it, as he was like, how come you didn't smack me like you usually do, Issei? And then that's when Kaneko says, cause you're not a perv, you actually respect my choices and care about me. And he was like, I will always care about my friends. I will always care about you too. And then he said, I would care about anybody that is my friend, regardless of where you come from, whether you are a purebred devil or even a hybrid. It really doesn't matter to me. As long as you are my friend and I see you as my family, then I will always protect you and my family to the bitter end, regardless of, what the outcome may be of this rating game. And then as he was seeing Kaneko, making some progress, he thought it was time to teach her some a special technique. I don't know what it's called. I think it's called like geo something. It's basically, you already know when Mory points to his head and then he presses down on his index finger, right? And it gives him like a power boost, basically. So he tells Kaneko that, if just in case if the rating game gets too hectic and she finds herself in a pickle, if all options are exhausted, I want you to learn this. Think of it as a trump card that you have now. So basically, it's he said it's a technique that I learned that my grandfather taught me, pressure points martial arts, and this one specifically enhances the person that uses this technique's physical strength and stats 8 times over. But the fallback of this is that there's a side effect called a rebound, where after the effects of the limiter removal that you do wears off, the user will feel unimaginable bearable pain. And then that's when Mory says, this is also my trump card, but the amount of times that I can use it, I won't tell. But he says that, but I will teach you this, so I want you to do exactly how I do it. And so that's when she points to her head, and then he said, right here under his head. And then that's when he goes over to basically like, she points, he guides her hand to her head, and then he positions it. Oh, I keep stuttering, man, my bad. He positions it on her head, and then he said, now put your thumb down when you're ready. And so as she puts her thumbs down, her vision increase, strength increase, speed increase, everything, her overall stats increase, as she was like, wow, I never felt so much power. As she didn't know that her body had such limiters on it. And so that's when she was like, I'm ready to fight now, Mory. And then that's when Mory was like, yes. He was like, okay, he was like, now we're really making progress. He was like, but remember, you only have 2 minutes. I think it's 2 minutes. I think it's like 2 or 3 minutes. But for plot's sakes, I'm gonna say Kaneko's is like 3 minutes, and Mory's is like 4 to 5 minutes. If it's like he's on adrenaline high, it's like 9 to 10 minutes. But for plot's sake, I'm gonna say 5 minutes. And then he was like, since it's your first time, I remember it was 3 minutes. So if it was 3 minutes for me, you only have 3 minutes. So let's go all out. And then they begin to go all out. I'm telling you, Mory's not holding his punches back. She's barely not feeling the pain, as she was like, don't hold back against me, Mory. And then they begin to clash and fight. And then that's when Kaneko was able to start reading the moves and actually learning the basis of renewal taekwondo, as she was able to start matching Mory's kicks, but Mory is still not going all out. He's just making her sharp, iron sharpens iron. So she's basically sharpening herself. And then that's when they go back and forth, kick for kick, punch for punch, block for block. And then as the 30-second mark reaches, Kaneko's starting to feel her power slip. but she's still going. And then as it's like 10 seconds, 9 seconds, 8, you know, she punches Mory in the jaw one good time, and he flies back, you know. And Konako was still, you know, off the high of, you know, feeling all that power and not feeling pain. And then that's when she said, Mory, hit me with your best shot. I'm going all out. And then that's when her energy begins to like rise. And so it was like 4, 3, 2. And then that Mory's counting, you know. So, you know, that's when Mory goes for it. And then he finally realizes what he's doing wrong as he's trying to imitate his grandfather. And then he realizes that, you know, it's his stance is sloppy compared to his grandfather's, as he perfects the recoilless kick as it was reached 1, and then that's when he missed the kick on Konako on purpose, and then Konako dodges. She looks back as it was like warped, and then it's a huge explosion that like blows her back, and that's when Mory catches her as she starts to you know, scream in pain as she was like, it hurts, as she starts to like get on one knee, and then she gets on her knees, not like that, but that's when Mory said, are you okay? And then she was like, this side effect isn't no joke. And then that's when Mory said, I'll help you. And so he said, please do not hit me when you feel better. I promise I'm not a perv. And so that's when he touches her right, you know, her right chesticle, and it kind of pokes with her blushing. And then he presses her left thigh, you know, when she blushes. And then he presses her abdomen in between her chest, right? And then that's what makes the pain go away, as Mory absorbed her pain unknowingly, as he's starting to feel the effects of his own rebound coming off of it, on top of the rebound that you know, on top of the rebound that Konako was feeling, as she is basically healed now, but she got sleepy from it. And so he said, allow me to do this nice gesture this one time. I know you can handle yourself, and I know you're also used to being strong, but for this time, you could depend on me. And so that's when she starts blushing, and you know, Mory carries her bridal style as she begins to fall asleep in Mory's arms. And that's when Mory walks back to, you know, the base, and you know, everything goes pretty much, you know, the canon. Mory also trains with Kiba, as Mory decides that he should, you know, he wants to spar with Kiba, as he tells Kiba to go all out. And so, you know, Kiba uses his wooden sword as they match blow for blow, as you know, Mory says renewal taekwondo, inner breathing, and basically it hardens his body. I know renewal taekwondo probably does that. It probably does harden your body, so I wouldn't even be surprised. So as he does that, he was, you know, punching the wooden sword, as it really doesn't have any like effect on him, because Mory hit way harder things than a wooden sword. But, you know, I'm gonna say that for plot's sake, because, you know, we both know he can hit way harder material. He has beat a god that's body is basically invulnerable. But, you know, he spars with Kiba, as after they finish sparring, he trains with Issei. And then that's when that's when Mory tells Issei to spar with Kiba, as they begin to spar, and Issei is actually keeping up with Kiba's movements, as Issei's remembering the training that he did with Mory, and how you know, if he was like, you know, Mory's training put him through hell, so he expect to at least keep up with Kiba, or, you know, get something out of that training, with Issei still dodging and still getting hit by Kiba. And that's when that's when Rias tells Kiba to hold off on it, but that's when that's when Mory said, no, he's doing good. He works better under pressure. And so that's when Rhea said, use your booster gear. And then that's when Issei was able to summon it. And then that's when he kept, saying and then that's when no, hold on. Let me get my words together. Okay. That's when Mory was like, he said, boost it to the max, like you shown me. And then he said, and remember what we talked about. Remember the water. Concentrate your power like it's water. And then when you're ready to let it go, full burst of stream. And so that's what Issei did. He kept boosting and boosting and boosting. And then when it was like at maximum capacity, he concentrated it and it was like a little small red orb. And then that's when Issei was like, oh, I did this much training, busted my ass for all that. And then he was like, and then he was kind of like, unhopeful at first. And then that's when Mory was like, there's more to that. Release it all now. And then that's when Kiba started rushing towards Issei. And then that's when Issei said, damn it all. And so he punched the beam. And Kiba was able to dodge the beam in the nick of time as that shit damn near split the mountain. And then that's when Mory was like, wow. Like, he was in awe. And then Rias was like in awe too, along with everybody else. And then that's when Rias said, see how far you came, Issei? That small progress, and you were able to do that. Now imagine if you train like that, how strong you would be. And then that's when Issei was getting pumped up. And then that's when he said he needs to come up with the signature move. And then, everything pretty much goes to canon in that way, how he was able to develop a technique to blow women's clothes off, And so after that, everything begins to, die down. They had a good time. Kaneko is taking more of a liking to Mory, and Mory finds her interesting too. And so, that's when Kaneko decided to know Mory more as she begins to talk to him. And she also stated that once they got back, after they finished her training, she's moving in to the Issei / Mory estate. And then that's when Issei was like, I never really expected this from you, Kaneko. And then that's when Mory was like, yeah, are you coming to sleep with Issei? Because Asya and Rias do it. So are you coming in there to sleep with him? And then that's when Kaneko was like, I don't want to be with that pervert. I came for you. I want to stay with you for now. And then that's what Mory was like, huh? What? He was like, me? He was like, what did I do? He was like, she was like, you are just a very good friend, and, I feel more comfortable staying with you instead of that perv. And then that's when Issei was like, hey, I'm not just a perv, I have more to my manly charms than just me liking the double D's all the time. And then that's when Kaneko hits Issei upside the head. But, with that being said, everything, goes to canon, which, they come back home, and Issei is, kind of restless. And then that's when he pays a visit to Mory, and he tells Mory, he walks in on Mory because, Mory would still be up around this time. But he walks in and sees Kaneko curled up on Mory, with Mory just like, chilled and laid back as, Mory wakes up hearing the door slide open. And then he was like, he woke up, and he said that, he was like, what are you doing here, Issei? He was like, you can't sleep, can you? And then Issei was like, how did you know? He was like, shh, you don't want to wake up Kaneko. She will probably kill you if you wake her up. And then Issei was like, yeah, you're probably right. He was like, hold on, let me just get up real quick. And, Mory was able to like slide out there, move like he on some Sly Cooper shit. And, they go out to the front of the dojo slash estate to talk. And then that's when Issei, was how many times am I going to keep saying he basically expresses his concerns and his anxiety about this rating game, because it's his first rating game and he just wants to be able to do perfect and be strong. And then that's when Mory said he has a secret to confess, and he was like, Asia's healing didn't heal him all the way, since he's experiencing this new trump card he taught Kaneko, and he used it himself, so he's bearing the backlash of both of those at the same time, and his body is in extreme pain. But he was able to kind of heal his own body to a certain extent, but the effects of the limiter removal is starting to wear off a little bit, but his body is still in pain. And then that's when he tells Issei about the limiter removal. He was like, the limiter removal is a very good trump card, but the side effects makes it way too dangerous. And in your state, you only could probably do it for, you can use it, but you'll only probably be able to use it for 2 minutes. Or maybe, he was like, since you were able, 2 minutes, he was like, since you underwent through training and, sufficient enough training, you should be able to sustain it for 2 minutes. But the rebound of it might critically injure him. And so he was like, don't do it now. He said, don't do it now. Don't do it now. So basically, he tells Issei that, we can't control the outcome. But if anybody says that, is his destiny to fail, or is his destiny to not win, then he should want to change that, and he should want a better outcome. He said, we can't control the future, but we control what we can do to the best of our ability. And if you want Rias to be free from the marriage, then I say that we give it our best, and you give it your best. Don't falter. Don't doubt yourself. Be confident in your abilities. We trained all this, time, and you gotten so far than what you used to be able to do. And even I gotten far in what I used to be able to do. I didn't think I needed training, and even if I didn't train, I know I could hold my own. But this is something serious, and plus my grandfather will probably slap me in the back of my head for not training all the time. So that's why I keep my training up. But he said, enough about me. I will teach you this technique if you still are feeling inadequate enough, knowing that you really made a lot of progress. So without any longing this conversation, this is the technique of limiter removal, and you could times it by however you want. He said, my limit right now is times 10, and I could only use time 10 for 2 minutes. He said, there's other techniques that I could teach you, but there's probably only 2 I could teach you right now. And so he demonstrates to Mory that this is how you activate the limiter removal. You bring your finger to your index, point at your temple. You bring your finger to your temple of your head, and then you point with your index finger touching your head, and then you press your thumb down on your index finger, as he said that after you do that, your physical limiter should be off, and you'll get a power boost, a very good power boost. You'll feel like you'll be able to do anything. It empowers you by 8 times, but the rebound is very dangerous. And if you go over the limit that you could possibly take, while the trade-off is good, you could potentially kill yourself with that limiter removal. So it's best that you tread carefully about it. And so that's when Issei was like, whoa, incredible. And then that's when Mory was like, remember, when in doubt, if you feel like everything isn't going right, and this is the last thing you can do, use it. but don't use it off the bat because you'll be setting yourself up for failure. And then that's when Issei was like, right. He was like, thank you, Mory. He was like, don't thank me, man. He was like, we're all a part of the same team. He was like, and better yet, you're my brother. He was like, despite your pervish antics, you will always be my brother. We were childhood friends after all. And we were basically raised around the same house/neighborhood since my grandfather owns most of this estate that your parents live in. So you're my brother. And then that's when they fist bump. And then that's when, it was like, a painted picture of them fist bumping. And now, what y'all all been waiting for, that's when the next day comes. Mory, Issei, motherfucking Asia, I was about to say Asuna, Asia, Rias, Kiba, motherfucking Kaneko, Akano, and Rias. I think I probably said her name already. They get prepared to do this mock battle as Riser showed up, and Graphia explained the rules of the mock battle. As y'all already know, this is a mock, what is it? Basically a mock rating game. Nothing, too serious. Well, it is kind of serious, but, this is a rating game. Like, they got to lock in. And so as they go over the rules, that's when Graphia says, does each, opposing team know the rules? And that's when Rias and, Riser give a understanding nod. And then he said, that's when she says, without any further ado, let the rating games begin. And we are going to leave this what if off here. Introducing part 5. I appreciate y'all for all the love and support, like I said. And without any further ado, I'm going to stop this intermission and let y'all get back to the finale of What If Mory Was in not Gata High School, but High School DxD. This is the hour special. Like I said, appreciate y'all, man, for real. This is part 5 of What If Mory G Monkey King was in High School DxD, man. Now, after that lovely intro, like I said, if y'all was keeping up with part 4, we are finally at the rating games, man. We are at the rating games now. They trained up, and everybody's ready to go. The rating games is starting to draw near as Issei can't sleep. And, that's when Mory, tells them that, like, come on, man, like, you gotta sleep. You don't want to be all wide awake, and then, it ruins your performance. And then that's when Issei was like, how can you sleep knowing we're about to fight? He was like, I've been waiting for something like this all my life. And I was like, how I love to fight, but, fighting for something that's, like, bigger than yourself makes me feel like I could be stronger for the people that need me. And he was like, think about it, Issei. And then that's when, Issei's personality starting rubbing off on him. Not like the, pervertedness, but, other areas. And plus what Taijin said in part 1 or 2, I believe. He was like, think about it, Issei. If you win, you'll be in Rias's good graces, and think about what that could do for you. And then that's when Issei was like, oh yeah, now you're talking, Mory. I could probably roll in them double D's and them bazongas, man. And then don't get me started on them thighs. And then that's when Mory was like, all right, you're doing too much now, man. So, just don't think about it, and, go to sleep. Tomorrow, we're just going to have to do our best. And that's when they both go back to their respective areas and go to sleep. And the day is here, the day of the rating games. And so that's when, Sona, Satiri, and Tsubaki come, and they tell them that, they set up the space for this rating game as Sona and Tsubaki were going to be spectating along with Graphia. And so, we're gonna skip time skip where they walk into the like alternate dimension where it's like the same school and stuff, but it's like in a different dimension. So like the school itself is actually not affected. It's just like in a different dimension. You know how the rating games usually are. And so with that being said, basically you know everything pretty much goes to canon. How uh they they begin to fight, and that's when Rias and Asuna stay back. They come up with the game plan. How everything is like originally in the canon. They stay back while Kaneko and Issei, take charge and go take care of the rooks along with the pawns and stuff. And then that's when Kiba basically goes off on his own, since he could pretty much hold his own. Like, he's no slouch. And Akano goes out, setting traps. And that's when Mory said that that's when not Mory, Ria said that she wants Mory to be like a secret weapon. So that's when Mory said, he'll do what he can, but if anybody's in danger, he can't promise that he'll sit by and let it happen. So that's when their plan was to try to take out as many as they can, and then if any of them are like critically injured or are about to fade away, that's when Mory will be able to step in and save them, basically, with his healing, since he can heal people to a certain extent. I think he could heal like all the way if he hits the right pressure points. But for plot's sake, I'm not gonna nerf him. I'm just saying he's not knowledgeable in that area just yet. Like, he's close, but not all the way. So he's a secret weapon, and that's when he was like, all right, as he goes out and then runs to a certain on a rooftop of the school, and then he meditates as he begins to he basically just starts meditating and getting his energy right as wind starts to swirl around him and meditating. So he's basically listening and hearing what's going on. And so everything pretty much goes to canon, how Issei goes into the auditorium gym. I think it's like an auditorium gym, and he fights the girl with the staff, and everything goes to canon. Kaneko fights a Kaneko fights a Chun-Li inspired character that was on Riser's team, and she beats her. Kaneko beats her with ease, along with Issei, handling the other rook, and then the two pawns, and then that's when their energy starts to go up, and then that's when basically Issei does the dress break move as he makes them naked, basically. I probably shouldn't have said that, but he makes them wear their birthday suit. I'm gonna use these code words, and then all the sizes that you could think of, B's, C's, a little A's, they start flying. They start girls going wild, if you know what I mean. But that happens, and then Kaneko says that Issei's a perv, and how we flip back to Tsubaki and Sona commenting on Issei's move, how they say it's original, but it's really kind of pervertish. And so that's when those the pawns and the and both rooks were out, and they handled their situation. So Mory was thinking in his head, that's Issei for you. He'll find a way to see what he wants when it comes to the girls, man. And so as that was happening, they took out a few more pawns, and then that's when they started walking back, and then Kaneko steps on the trap. She steps on the trap, basically. And so, man, these yawns are killing me. She steps on a trap, and that brings Kaneko out. But it turns out that you know what? No, I'm not gonna make Kaneko go out like that yet. So we gonna switch it up. So I'm gonna improvise real quick. So Kaneko was able to dodge that explosion, and then that's when more of Riser's pawns and knights and more rooks came, and then that's when Riser's sister came out, and then that's when, you know, she basically goes on about how her brother is the strongest and how she has the strongest party, and so how she basically how their party my bad how his party camp is virtually unbeatable, as they also carry the Phoenix essence, so they could always come back to life. It's like basically immortality that they have. And so as that happens, that's when Kaneko and Issei get back to back, and they start fighting Riser's like partial of his peerage. And so as they're fighting, that's when Konako said that she's been learning a new move, and then that's when she used the limiter removal, and she said it's time to go all out, all or nothing. And then that's when Issei was like, "What are you doing?" And then that's when he sees her do the limiter removal move, and then that's when Issei was like, "Mory taught you that too?" And then that's when she gets like a huge power boost as energy starts swirling around her, and then she begins to like take out the pawns and take out one of his rooks, and so which leaves the knights and another rook and I think it's the queen. I think it's a queen that the girl that he was filling up on. I don't know her name, but you know, as that was happening, she didn't. That's when a queen takes Kaneko out, which she was dodging her moves. But then that's when you know, one of the pawns decide to like jump in, and Kaneko kicked the shit out of her in her renewal taekwondo stance that she took up. And, you know, it's not going to be as effective as renewal since she's not doing the stances properly, since it was kind of like being ineffective. But, you know, since she was practicing it, she found her own way how to make it effective her own way, if that makes sense. And so she takes out the pawn, but then she gets hit by a stray blast, and as she was getting back up like it was nothing, that's when the rebound hit. And it was mostly the rebound that made her, you know, get out the game, which basically the queen dealt the final blow, and then that's when Akano came in to handle her. And so they begin to fight as Issei, you know, is holding his own, and that's when he was able to, you know, he power boost himself, and then he, you know, touched that girl that was fighting him with that metal eye patch thing, and he did a dress break on her, you know, as cannon, and then he uses a dragon shot and blows her to smithereens. And so that's when more people start to come, and then that's when Issei, you know, told the Drag you know, he needs more power, that he needs it now, that he needs to be strong, and he needs to let his emotions, you know, be the power that drives his, you know, the drive for his power. And then that's when he reaches his second liberation, and then that's when he gets a huge power boost. And then that's when Issei says, use sword rebirth on in Issei's direction, and that's when Kiba said, all right, here goes nothing, sword rebirth. And so that's when he stabs the sword into the ground, and then a bunch of swords come up, and then that's when Issei was able to absorb it, and he punched the ground, amplifying Kiba's move, basically taking out, you know, most of his pawns and rooks, right? But that's when Kiba got eliminated, because you know, they use Tears of Immortality. And then that's when you know, Akano got eliminated because she used the Tears of Immortality. Akano's opponent used the Tears of Immortality too. And so that's when you know, Riser's sister went on about you know, gave a whole autobiography on how they were allowed to use it twice. And since they weren't, like, you know, they're pretty new to the rules, so I would say that it kind of wasn't fair. It wasn't fair to the beginning because they kind of didn't realize that they could use that. They could use the what is it? They could use the tears of immortality, basically. So but I digress. So that happens, and then that's when Issei runs and asks if he could be promoted to queen as Ravel's risers. I think her name's Ravel. Yeah, Ravel says that she wasn't finished laughing, and he can't just run off like that. That's when Rias was able to sneak out, and she as that was happening, she went on a roof, and that's when Riser showed up, and they were about to face off with Issei, doing what he had to do. And so he goes inside, promotes himself to queen, and he starts running up to where Reese is at. And then that's when Mory awakens. That's when Mory, not Monkey King awaken. That's when he says, okay, cracks his neck, stretches. He said, I think it's about time to make myself known. And so that's when Mory jumps on top of the fence that's on the roof, and he jumps off the fence and then lands in the middle of the arena where Riser and Rias, along with Issei, just getting up there, and surrounding that is some of Riser's team that came back to life, right? And so that's when Mory said, "It seems like you forgot all about me, huh? Well, now that I'm here, we're definitely going to win now." And then that's when Rias is like, "Mory, I didn't tell you to come out yet." And he was like, "I know you didn't, but we're kind of like in a losing situation. And so I don't want to sit back while everybody else gives their all." And so that's when one of Riser's martial art pawns decide to fight Mory, but they get utterly destroyed as he does the renewal Taekwondo 3-ho choke kick, right? The three kicks, the 3 triple kicks, and they utterly get bodied as she gets unconscious. And then that's when the announcer says that Riser's pawns have been eliminated as he beat both of them at the same time. So after that happens, that's when one of the rooks that was a sword fighter comes and swings that giant sword, and that's when Mory used his pressure point style as he pointed at the sword, and he said that pressure point style iron finger basically, and shattered the sword into pieces. And then that's when he used the renewal Taekwondo Mach punch, and punching her at Mach speed basically, and all you see is like sound waves, and then she just gets obliterated. And then that takes care of that. And then that's when Rias decides to shoot shoot like energy blast at Riser, and he takes it head on, but his healing factor is like basically so great that it's really not doing anything. As he does say that it does sting him a little bit, but it's ultimately futile. As that's when Riser's queen begins to fight Rias and Asuna, with Asya being able to heal her using Twilight healing. And so that's when Ravel also states that Rias's bishop has Twilight healing, so it's kind of like the same thing. And then that's when Riser's sister begins to watch Mory as Issei took one of the queen's blasts head on. And that's when Rias was getting worried about Issei, and because he was starting to get pummeled by Riser, as Issei kept saying that he'll never give up. And as Riser was about to punch him again, that's when Mory basically blitzed up there and grabbed he pulled Issei back, paying homage to Gata High School, how he was that dude was about to get hit, and he pulled he pulled Issei's shirt back, and that's when Issei was like, Mory, I could have handled it. You didn't need to save me. He was like, you know, you did good, Mory. He was like, I just need you to rest for a little bit. And no, why did I say you did good, Mory? He said, you did good, Issei. He said, now it's time for you to, you know, give me your burden. And then that's when that's when Mory pressure pointed Issei, and he started feeling better. But he started, you know, so Mory, like, you know, healed him, but he immobilized him because he didn't want him to get back into the fight, because, you know, the pressure point healing does so much. And so that's when Issei was like, damn, I feel better already, but why can't I move? He was like, he was like, if I healed you for no reason, you know, it would be kind of, you know, distasteful if you just ruined your body again. He was like, in the way I pressure pointed you, you need to rest. He said, so just let me do this one time. And then he, you know, touched, basically he slapped Issei. He put his hand on Issei's head, and then he basically took all the pain out that he was feeling. And then that's when Riser was like, so you try to fight me, it's gonna end the same. He was like, I'm basically immortal, you can't beat me. And so that's when Mory was like, beating you? Who said anything about beating you? As that's when Riser tried to punch Mory, but that's when Mory dodged. And then that's when Mory palmed him in his chest. And then as he palmed him in the chest, he released the pain. As he said, renewal Taekwondo, transference. And then that's when the pain that he inflicted, that the pain that basically Mory felt through all his battle, right? His battle and up to now, that's what Riser's feeling. And so Riser started, you know, screaming and then trying to keep it together, but he started coughing up blood a little. And then he was like, what is this move? And then Mory was like, it's a special move that I developed where I could take the pain that people feel and transfer it to others. He was like, it's a risky move because I feel the pain, but after I transfer it, I feel as good as new. And then that's when Riser was like, he was like, that still won't stop me. And then that's when they begin to fight. And Mory realized, you know, that his regeneration isn't nothing to play at, as you know, Riser is, you know, getting pushed back, and he's getting healed from the pain. The pain is starting to subside, and he was like, this is gonna be nothing. I told you, I heal from everything. The phoenix always gets back up, even when it's down, and it rises anew. And then that's when he starts shooting fire. And then that's when Mory started countering with renewal Taekwondo, but he's making his move set, like his moves go cold as he was, you know, as he's able to control the temperature of his moves. Like he can make his fist hot, you know, electricity, and it's all like natural energy. Like he's able to do, as a god of high school characters are able to do this. And so that's when he was like, renewal Taekwondo, you know, roundhouse kick. And that's when he was, you know, able to use a roundhouse kick, and he hit a Riser's shoulder, making it like dislocate, and he flies back into the wall as he noticed that his arm is like cold. And then that's when he was like, is that your magic? Is that your trump card? You're ice mage user? He was like, no, I don't use any magic. I just use straight skill. And then that's when he gets in his stance, and then he was like, Mory Jin. He's like, Mory Jin original, renewal Taekwondo, kick of the blue dragon. And then that's when he runs towards Riser and starts, you know, he winds up the kick and kicks the dragon at him, but it's like really cold. And so as he gets hit by the dragon, Riser blocks it and says, that's nothing. And then that's when Mory said, I wanted you to do that. As you know, he you know, seeps his leg into his guard, brings it down, and then does the triple kick, shaking his brain, you know, kicking his leg, and then you know, rupturing his organs kinda. And then that's when Riser gets on his gets on one knee, saying that he's not gonna let it end like this, as Riser's sister's watching all how he doesn't how Mory doesn't use any magic, and how he's able to how he's able to overcome this difference between just skill. And then that's when Riser was like, who are you? And then that's when Mory was like, my name is Jin Mory. I am the father of Jin Taijin, the greatest martial artist in the world, and the greatest martial artist in the underworld, the heavens and earth. And then that's when Riser started realizing, who Mory is, the grandson of the person that his father got beaten by before. How he was like, just because your grandfather beat my father, it won't end the same. And that's when Riser like awoken, and then that's when he like turned into like this flame deity kinda. And that's when he started matching Mory blow for blow and stuff. Like, even though it was like sluggish, it was like his healing factor that was really carrying Riser. And then that's when Ravel said that Mory won't be able to match his brother during that state. And Mory has like heat resistance to a certain extent, but he's getting affected, and the pain is starting to sear on his face, as he was like, that's when Riser plays sneakily and summons a magic circle behind Mory, as Mory was able to block it just in time, but his shirt burnt off, and he has scorch marks on him, as Mory was getting fatigued. And he was like, damn, he was like, I was not expecting that to happen, as he was breathing hard. And then that's when he was like, that's when he has to do it. And then as Riser was about to punch Mory, that's when Mory dodges and uses renewal taekwondo mock punch, blitzing Riser, and he flies back, as he got enough space to do it. And then he said, this is going to be very regrettable, but it's going to hurt. But at the same time, he needs to win, as Mory points to his head, and he said, limiter removal times 10. And then that's when everything, turns black and white for him. And then it goes back to color, as that's when Riser was like, he started laughing. He was like, you think pointing at your head and saying limiter removal was going to do anything? And then that's when Riser, flies towards him in like a streak of flames. And then that's when Mory speed blitz, like, damn near teleported with his arm still out. And then that's when Riser gets hit by a mock punch times 2 with renewal taekwondo mock punch times 2, and Riser just gets hit out of nowhere, and then he flies into the gym auditorium. And then as he gets out the rubble, Mory walks towards him, and he's counting down in his head, as he was like, I only have 30 seconds to make this count. And then he was like, but while in these 30 seconds, I am the strongest that you ever face. And then that's when Mory started hitting him with, roundhouse kicks, cho hooks, motherfucking bottom hooks, the 3-stage kick 6 times, just going in. I telling you, this man is going in on Riser, as he was like, this is for disrespecting Rias, and this is what you get for doing this and that. Just Mory just going in. And as that was going on, Rias is just in awe how Mory is this strong, and how he's basically been holding out, as Rias was like, maybe I should pay attention to Mory more a little too. And Issei, how Issei was basically giving it his all. And so as that was happening, that's when a 10-second march reached, and that's when Mory knew he was starting to feel it. And so as that was going on, Riser is starting to heal from it, but he's still feeling the pain, because while he was getting beat on like that, Mory was inflicting so much damage and pain, that his healing factor wasn't keeping up for those 30 to 45 seconds. And then that's when Mory and him started in a fight, but Mory kicked them out the auditorium, the gym auditorium, and back on the to where they originally were. And so that's when Mory took out his stick, right? And then he did the twirling that they always do. And then Riser was like, I don't know if I could keep this up. And then that's when he saw Mory take out the stick. And then that's when Mory spinned it. And then he said, Mory Jin original, kick of the blue dragon. But he balanced the staff on his foot. And then using the last 2 seconds, he bolted that shit. He kicked the shit out that shit. And it impaled the queen, Riser's queen. Like, and then after, it impaled her, like, it was just a huge, blast of air that knocked Rias and, Asia off the roof. But when they had their wings, they both caught themselves with Issei, catching himself with his wings just in time. But he's starting to feel the effects, of his mobility. He's regaining his mobility, right? And so as Issei was slowly getting up, that's when Mory just sat there, stood up. He paused standing up, and then he was unconscious. Mory was unconscious standing up, as he was just standing there with the most menacing look on his face, but he's unconscious. And then that's when he snaps back into consciousness, and then he falls down as he started screaming in pain. And then he was like, as the rebound is starting to set in, because he went times 10. And so he was reeling in from it. And then that's when Riser took advantage. But then that's when Issei came in clutch and saved the day, as Mory was like, do it, Issei. He said, I weakened him, now you finish it. Because we both know Mory really could have beaten Riser, but I gotta give Issei some shine too. So as that was happening, he was like, use what you learned, do it. And then even though Issei didn't have all his energy back, he was still healed enough to be able to move and fight. And that's when Issei does it. He does his limiter removal, and then that's when he said, Drag. He said, Red Dragon, give me the power needed to beat him. And then that's when he does the Drag does a major boost, right? And so that's when Issei starts getting all this energy swirling around him. And then he was like, and then that's when Riser was like, even if you do that, it still won't be enough. And so that's when Issei was concentrating all his energy. And so that's when Mory said, instead of doing it in a dragon shot, try doing it in a dragon fist style. And then that's when Mory says, remember that secret training I taught you. And then Issei flashed back to where he was practicing his dragon shots. And so that's when Mory said, instead of using it into a condensed ball, absorb it and then punch. As Mory tried to do what not Mory, as Issei did what Mory said, and he got way better results out of it. And so that's when we come back to the present with Issei, gathering all that energy up, and it was a pretty decent sized spear. But we all know that the little spear is basically child's play, but that decent sized spear was something. And so that's when Issei was like, here it goes. And then that's when he absorbed the energy into the sacred gear gauntlet, basically. And then that's when Issei cocks his fist back, as he was like, he said Issei special move, dragon fist. No Dragon Ball Z copyrighted intended, but that's pretty much how it goes. And plus, Goku really don't even use that move. So anyway, as I was saying, he collides, attacks with Riser, and that's when the punch hits and connects, and then that's when the energy blasts, blasts out with almost cracking the dimension that they were in, and Riser has been defeated, meaning that Rias has won her first rating game, and that's when Serzetchis and Grafia come out of the spectating room that they were secretly in. Well, Serzetchis was in, and then that's when Serzetchis said, he congratulated his little sister, and how she won her first rating game and she got out of her marriage, and he was happy for her. And then that's when Asya went to go heal Mory, and then that's when Mory was conscious and he's starting to feel a little better, but he was telling Asya that he doesn't want him to heal her all the way, as he wants to be in his rebound state, so he'll be able to be able to take more rebounds. And so as that was happening, everything pretty much goes to canon after they win. Rias and Issei, have a happy ending on season 1 together, and that's when Rias thanks Issei, and she actually kisses him, and then that's when they have a huge celebration and party for winning. And so he was like, Rias was like, thank you, Issei, and you, Mory, thank you too, Mory. And then that's when everybody begins to thank Mory and Issei, how they were basically the MVPs, with Mory giving Issei a chance to do what he started and finish the fight. And so basically after that, there was a party at Issei's house and stuff, and then that's when Kiba saw that holy sword, and then that's when Mory noticed that something was off with Kiba. And then that's when Mory asked, hey Kiba, everything's okay? Kiba was like, yeah, why you ask, man? And then that's when Mory was like, I noticed you've been looking at that sword weird. And he was like, if you have like a past with that sword, then you could talk about it, but if not, that's also okay. But if you need anything to talk about, or you ever feel like you can't do it alone, if I was there for Issei when he was gonna go it alone, I'm always there for you, man. He was like, I appreciate it, but I'm just reminiscing. And then Mory was like, okay, well, I'll leave it to you then. And then that's when as Mory leaves, that's when Kiba gets like this angry look on his face, as he says in his mind that he vows to destroy all those holy swords, especially Excalibur. And that is the end of season 1 of What If Mory Was in High School DxD. Man, oh man, bro. That was a fire series, in my opinion, bro. And, bro, I really appreciate all y'all, bro. Like, this High School DxD, like, if I really need to become a High School DxD what-iffer, then I might have to do that, for real. But, other than that, man, like, I'm so happy y'all enjoyed this What If series. If y'all made it to the end of the series, if y'all watched all parts, man, I'm gonna be turning this into a movie, right? I'm gonna turn it into a movie, and then I'm gonna make a whole playlist so y'all could basically watch it all. Like, I'm gonna start doing like a playlist of movies that I finish with each What If, and I'm just overall, I'm just happy y'all enjoyed this What If, for real. Like I really didn't expect it to get that much. Like, I know Mory Jin is a popular character, and this is not the end of Mory Jin High School DxD, though. It's just the end of season 1. Mory Jin will return, okay? He will return. I just want y'all to know that. Mory Jin will return. And then in season 2, it gets even crazier. So, with that being said, man, I appreciate y'all for all the love and support. And, I will be doing a quick channel update, too. Well, not a channel update. It's really not an update. But by popular belief, Aang will be next on a high school DxD. So after this part is uploaded basically, and I turn it into a movie, I'm gonna just cut all this extra part off. So, y'all don't have to hear it, all the yapping and stuff. So after I finish this and upload everything, I will be beginning to start What If Aang Was in High School DxD. And so, we'll see how that goes, man, cuz that's going to be interesting. That's really going to be interesting. I was debating if I should let Aang have hair in that version or not, but like, we're so used to him not having hair and having an arrow on his head, a little bald boy. But it's going to be weird, but it's going to be very enjoyable at the same time. So, this is Redux What If signing off. I appreciate y'all for all the love and support, man. And I'm out.